You know what? I was thinking about something the other day, and honestly, I think this is where a lot of people mess themselves up when they first come into this business. And I'm not saying this to be hard on anybody, okay? I'm just saying this because I think that people come into this with the wrong expectations sometimes, especially in the beginning. So, for all of the new inspectors who are listening at my voice right now, please listen up. Because you see, when you first start, baby, everybody's motivated. Everybody. You're excited. You're ready to work. You're watching videos everywhere. You watch my videos. There's no telling how many other videos you're actually watching. You're setting things up and you're feeling like, okay, I'm about to do something different. You got that energy. You're checking emails every 5 minutes once you've signed up for some companies. And you are ready to accept every assignment that comes through. So you are planning your routes, okay? Talking about, I got this. And listen, that part is normal because everybody should be excited and motivated to even get going in the first place. Excitement in the beginning, once again, that is normal. But here's the part that people just don't think about, because that feeling, it don't stay. Sorry to tell you. I think that this is what people really get tripped up at. And that's why I want to talk about it today. Because people think as long as they stay motivated, I'll be fine. No, ma'am. Okay, now, motivation is cute and all. Motivation is real cute in the beginning. But motivation is not what is going to keep you going in this work. Because motivation got feelings attached to it. Feelings, actual feelings. Okay? And feelings do change. Some days you feel good. Some days you don't. Some days you're energized. Some days you're tired. Some days you're ready to get out there and get the ball rolling. And some days you're looking outside like, I do not feel like driving all over today. And I can attest to that because that's how I be. So let's just be honest. Some days you just don't feel like dealing with insurance. Some days you don't feel like explaining the same thing over and over. Some days you don't feel like taking pictures at all. And some days you definitely do not feel like sitting there finishing those reports, especially after you've been out all day. And if we're being honest now, some days people get on your nerves. People can get on your last nerves. And that's real. But this is what I need people to understand. If your work depends on how you feel that day, you are going to struggle. If your work depends on how you feel that day in this job, you will struggle because feelings change way too much. And bills, baby, them bills don't care about your mood. They still showing up. That car note, guess what? Still there. Rent, guess what? Still there. Mortgage, it's still there. Lights, still there. And nobody's going to be calling you saying, you know what? Since you weren't motivated this month, don't worry about it. No, ma'am. That is not how life works. And I think that sometimes people really get confused, okay, between motivation and discipline. Those are not the same thing. See, motivation gets you excited. That's true. You are excited to get out and get going. But discipline is what gets things done. And there is a big difference because motivation gets you started. That's what actually happens. But discipline is what keeps you moving when you don't even feel like it. And a lot of us already know. Those of you who have been inspecting this time, for however long you've been an inspector, you already know exactly what I'm talking about. The motivation may get you moving at first, but the time's going to come where it's going to wear off, and your discipline is what's going to step in to make sure that you can get money and keep your bills paid. And this work will test you. So just know that. Because there are going to be days where you absolutely just do not feel like doing it. You're tired. There's bad traffic out there. People are calling and rescheduling. People are not answering their phones. You got reports that are piling up all over the place. Oh, bad weather, you hungry. I'm hungry, I ain't gonna go right now. Somebody irritated you earlier in the day, and you already know how that works. If someone irritates you earlier in the day, anything, the smallest thing that gets up under your skin, some sort of family matter or whatever, all of a sudden it has ruined your whole momentum for the day. But guess what? You have schedules. You have things that you still need to do. You still gotta finish your work. That is when people find out who are really built by discipline and who are just motivated. Hey guys, real quick, let's talk about Chime. I've personally been using Chime for over 4 years to manage my business and personal expenses, and it's honestly been a game changer. With Chime, you get more than just a checking account. They've got a credit builder card that I still use today for automatic payments like Netflix and Hulu. It helps to build credit without the risk of debt. You also get paid up to 2 days early with direct deposit, access to over 60,000 fee-free ATMs, and SpotMe, which lets you overdraft up to $200 with no fees. On top of that, Chime now has MyPay, which lets you access up to $500 before payday with no interest or mandatory fees. Now this is a huge help when cash flow gets tight. And let's not forget their high yield savings account, so your money grows while you're saving. Between the checking, credit builder, yield savings, and MyPay, Chime gives you all the tools you need to stay ahead. So if you're ready to take control of your money, head over to chime.com and open up your account today. Use the link in the description to get your first $100 at sign up. Some people love the idea of field inspections more than the actual work. They love working for themselves, making money, being independent, setting their own schedules. Yeah, all that sounds good until reality actually hits. Now, all of the sudden, you gotta stay organized, you gotta move fast, you gotta communicate with these people that you may not want to communicate with. A lot of people don't like talking on the phone, period, let alone having to communicate all the time. You gotta finish these reports up. You gotta deal with difficult people, sometimes every day. You gotta stay on top of all of those emails. And now that motivation ain't hitting the same. That's why I tell people all the time, this business rewards consistency, because companies don't experience your motivation. Let me say it again. They do not experience your motivation. You do. They experience what you bring to the table. They don't know how you felt today. They don't know how inspired you might have felt today. They don't care that you meant well. They don't see your intentions. What they see is, did the inspections get done? Was it on time? Did you respond when they tried to contact you? Was the documents clean? That's what they experience. So somebody who's super motivated one week and then disappears the next week, you on top of your game, but this week I just don't feel like it. From the company side, that's inconsistent, okay? And that's what'll mess you up when it comes to doing this type of work. Because you need to know that you have to build a reputation. And in order to build a reputation, you have to be trusted by these companies. And they're not going to trust you if you are not consistent. Because to them, they see someone who is not going to get the job done. And motivation is just not it. You do one good inspection and then suddenly somebody or everybody trusts you. No, it don't work like that. It builds up over time. After you do the same thing over and over and over again, the right thing, submitting clean reports, being dependable, responding to them when they're trying to talk to you. All of those good things. Doing what you said you was gonna do over and over and over again. That's how people start trusting you. And I've heard people say, I can trust you from the start until you give me something to distrust you about. I trust everybody until they give me a reason not to. I don't know where y'all got all that from, because to me, trust is earned. And if I'm just meeting you, I am not trusting you at all until you give me a reason to trust you. All of that trustworthy and believing it, that's what gets you in trouble and gets a lot of people caught up in real life. Okay? So ain't nobody gonna be sending you no emails talking about no congratulations, we trust you now. You're gonna feel it, you're gonna know. And that's how you know, because you're gonna start getting more assignments. You're gonna start being force-fed work. Because I had somebody in my comment section once before tell me that they had so much work coming in until they had to start denying the work. It was just too much. That's what I call being force-fed work. Okay, there's nobody gonna be micromanaging you. Okay, there's gonna be a lot of less back and forth and more confidence in you. That's when you know they trust you. So let me flip it for a second, because inconsistency, what it does is it creates the opposite of unpredictability. So let me explain what I'm saying. Companies do not like for you to be unpredictable, right? If one week you're on point, the next week you're slow, and then you disappear, now you're missing stuff, the communication's all weirded out, turnaround is slow. Now the company's thinking, I don't know what I'm gonna get with this person. That's a problem, because that makes you risky. You ever try to apply for a loan or some sort of credit card or whatever, and you high risk because you have not proven yourself to be someone who is responsible? Companies look at it the same way. You're a risk. And especially when deadlines are involved, they are going to lean toward people. And when I say lean, I mean start giving work and more work to people who they know they can depend on. People who move steady. And listen, steady doesn't mean being perfect. And I want to make sure I make that clear, okay? Because I ain't never told anybody to be perfect when it comes to doing this job, because there is no such thing as perfection. And anybody out here who tells you they're doing this job and they're doing it and they're doing everything to perfection and they never mess up, they are lying to you, and the truth ain't in them. Sometimes we do miss things, okay? Because you're going to have bad days and you're going to make mistakes and life is going to happen. But there's a difference between being human and becoming reliable. That's the difference. And I think people underestimate just how much easier consistency actually makes your life. Because when you build rhythm, because there's a flow to this, life does get easier and you stop overthinking stuff, okay? Now you know how you start your day. Now you know how you move. Now you know your process. Now you know how things need to get done. You're not waking up every day trying to reinvent yourself. You just execute. And that removes so much stress. And let me tell y'all something. People who depend on motivation, they stay most of the time emotionally exhausted, because every day they're trying to feel ready. Waiting for the mood, waiting for the energy, waiting for some sort of inspiration. Sometimes you just gotta get up and go. And that's real life. Because while somebody is waiting to feel motivated, somebody else already done finished the work. And now guess who's getting the next assignments? Guess who's building trust? Guess who's building that momentum? The person who stayed consistent. And that's why it's always easy to say, small things add up. Because they do. One good report turns into 10. 10 can turn into 50. And 50 turns into very good reputation. Reputation turns into opportunity. And that's how this works. That's consistency, not motivation. And before somebody say, well, I'm trying, good, keep trying. But also ask yourself honestly, am I relying too much on how I feel? Because if your mood determines your work ethic, that's a dangerous place to be. especially in this line of work, because there are going to be days where motivation ain't nowhere to be found. And those are the days that matter the most. Those are the days where discipline has got to show up. Those are the days where consistency has got to carry you. Because at some point, you stop asking, do I feel like this today? Do I actually feel like this today? And you start asking, what needs to get done today? That mindset shift right there will change everything for you. Because now you're moving with structure, you're dependable. Now people trust you. Now your workflow is more stable. Now your income is more stable. Because you're not operating off feelings anymore. You're operating off habits. Habits will take you way further than motivation ever will. So if things feel up or down for you right now, maybe this is the question to ask yourself. Am I waiting to feel motivated, or am I building some sort of consistency? Because motivation might help you get started. Yeah. Consistency is what gets you paid, not your motivation. All right, y'all. Y'all know what to do. And I'll see you on the next one. Enjoy the rest of your day.